Magicians are the most trustworthy individuals on earth because they tell you they're going to deceive you and then they pull it off. Magic has always existed in places where there has been amazement throughout history. Magicians have been trying to wow us and break our brains for years by doing tricks like pulling rabbits out of top hats, splitting assistants in half, and trying to break free of chains and cuffs while submerged in water. From masters of deception like Harry Houdini to the genuine gobloofs of magic, some have been successful in dazzling us, while others haven't. What, however, actually occurs behind the scenes, and what do we know about these magicians? A magician's talent at fusing stagecraft, human psychology, physics, and sleight of hand to astonish their audiences is genuinely magical, and it fascinates me. But if you want to become a magician, you have to sign an oath promising not to divulge your trade secrets. Pun intended exactly. A trained magician must swear an oath before teaching a novice magician the techniques in order to keep the secrets from non-magicians. In this manner, the illusion is preserved and magicians have some degree of job security. Tricks are the property of the magician who invented them, just as a song is the property of the musician who sung it and a book is the property of the author who wrote it. If you wanted to learn magic before the internet existed, it was very difficult to do so. Following Scott's book, there weren't many books on the subject either because magicians preferred to keep their trade secrets to themselves. If you do manage to locate a book on magic right now, you'll need to search specialty shops. The majority of major carriers don't carry magic books, despite the fact that they are among the performing arts' most often produced publications and are issued on an annual basis in large numbers. Magicians Harry Blackstone and Harry Boughton Blackstone Jr. are a father-son duo, with the elder being among the best magicians ever. Despite being straightforward, Blackstone's tactics were among the first of their sort and broke through boundaries when they were initially used. Blackstone Jr. produced instructional packages for teaching magic at any stage of the learning process and twice won the title of Magician of the Year, 1979 and 1986. Gene Eugene is the inventor of numerous tricks that many magicians still use today. Robert Houdin is known as the father of modern magic. In the 1800s, he transferred magic from the streets and circuses to theaters. And if you recognize his name, it's because Houdini used it as the basis for his stage name. Before the 18th century, magic was a straightforward source of amusement, particularly at fairs. At those festivities, the major attractions were jugglers and those who swallowed swords. Beginning in the early 18th century, it became acceptable to practice magic or illusion, and the wealthy began to join in. Magicians can focus their learning and trick-making efforts on a wide range of categories. In order to amaze their audiences, magicians might use techniques including disappearance, transformation, production, restoration, transposition, moving, escape, levitating, piercing, and prediction. An Italian priest by the name of Saint John Bosco employed a technique known as gospel magic to persuade children to go to church and school in the 19th century. He must be the list's least interesting magician as a result. Probably the first magician that comes to mind when you try to name them is Harry Houdini. He was originally born Eric Wise in 1874, and he was a native of Hungary. Houdini endured many terrifying ordeals throughout his career, including being handcuffed, sent deep underwater, wound up tightly in a straitjacket, and hung precariously from a skyscraper. A Canadian illusionist was able to complete one of Houdini's feats in half the time it took the master illusionist to complete it. Doug Henning forced his helper to enter a locked chest while being handcuffed and bound inside of a sack. The trick started with Henning on top of the chest, and when he reached 3, the couple had switched places. Houdini needed 20 seconds to complete this task. Henning just needed 10. According to etymology, the word magic comes from the Greek word magiae. The Persian priests, known as Magash in Persian, became known as Magoi in Greek due to the centuries-long conflict between the Greeks and the Persians in antiquity. The term magika gradually evolved to refer to any foreign, unconventional, or illicit ritual practice. Magiae and magika were the terms used to describe the ceremonial actions of Persian priests. Successful illusions could be seen by the general people as resembling a magic trick that the ancient Magoi were rumored to have been able to execute. There have been many instances where magic and more specifically magic tricks have been used to describe the performance of illusionist tricks or magical illusions, as well as the apparent workings and consequences of such performances. Although different magicians have different ideas on how to classify a certain effect, a number of categories have been created. Magicians may make something appear to vanish, pluck a rabbit out of an empty hat, or change a red silk handkerchief into a green one. Another trick used by magicians is to cut off something's head and then restore it. They can also make something appear to move from one location to another or break free from a restraint. A solid object appearing to pass through another object, appearing to defy gravity, or appearing to foretell a spectator's decision are examples of other illusions. Combinations of effects are common in magic routines. Different techniques are used by magicians to describe the kinds of tricks they pull off. There is dispute on the categories that should be used to classify a particular effect. As an illustration, whereas some magicians classify penetrations as a different category, others see them as a type of restoration or teleportation. Some modern magicians, including Guy Hollingworth and Tom Stone, are starting to question the idea that all magic effects fall into a finite set of categories. There has been debate about how many various kinds of effects there are among magicians who hold to a small number of categories, such Daryl Fitzke, Harlan Tarbell, and S.H. Sharp. The dedication to magic may impart inventiveness, self-assurance, a work ethic that results from consistent practice, and the sense of responsibility that comes with an art. Until recently, teaching performance magic was a closely kept secret. In order to keep the laity from discovering their secrets, professional magicians were loath to impart their knowledge to anyone outside of their trade. Because of this, it was frequently challenging for an eager apprentice to learn much beyond the fundamentals of magic. Some organizations had strong policies prohibiting members from sharing magic secrets with anybody outside reputable magicians. The majority of magic shows fit into one or two categories or specialty. Big-scale props and even large animals are used in stage illusions. For a medium-sized to huge audience, platform magic is presented. The audience is positioned close to the magician during close-up magic performances. Escapology is the study of breaking free from imprisonment or restraint. Pickpocket magicians steal wallets, watches, belts, and ties from spectators. The illusion that the magician can read people's minds is created via mentalism. Comedy magic, exemplified by Penn and Teller, is the use of magic in conjunction with stand-up comedy. Some contemporary illusionists think it is unethical to perform something that isn't only a clever and skillful trick. Others counter that they can assert that magic is to blame for the effects. There have been occasional disputes among artists as a result of these ostensibly insurmountable differences of opinion. The use of dishonest methods for gain outside of a magic show's venue is another problem. Examples include dishonest mediums, scam artists, and grifters who cheat at card games. Magic authors have argued that there are more books about magic than any other performing art because there are so many books about magic tricks that are published every year. Even if the majority of these books are not found on the shelves of public libraries or bookstores, a diligent learner can still find many of them through specialty shops that cater to magicians' requirements. That was for today. Thank you for staying with us. Don't forget to like our video and subscribe to our channel.